Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Every Woman Show, and this is Megan, and I'm here with Soal in my studio today, and we have several questions to talk about. He is a local artist who has turned very professional and has gone to LA and is back in Kansas City for a short period of time, and he is going to give us a piece of what's going on in his world and answer some questions that we've put together for him. So I really hope you enjoy this interview. Okay, Soal, please tell us about your background, where you've grown up. You've texted me a little bit ago that you've lived in many different places, so tell me about your upbringing.
All right. First and foremost, thank you for having me on this show. I appreciate it, Megan. It's an honor. Hi, everybody. Just want to give a quick shout out. Thanks to Emily Posey and Alina Sisuchan for getting me into this radio place and getting me known here and stuff. She's sitting on the couch right now. But yeah, I had a very interesting life. My parents moved me around a lot as a child. I wasn't a military baby. They just traveled a lot. So I grew up half my life in like Minnesota and Florida. Because the moment I was born in Minnesota, I'm
visualizing that. Minnesota, Florida. Too
long,
cold, too hot?
That's why I can handle any type of temperature, you know. Put me in the freezer and in the oven, I'm good. So long story short with that, just when my mom came from Laos, they started in Minnesota. That's just how it was. When my dad came from Laos, he started in Florida. They met through mail exchange. There was no internet at the time. It was super cute, you know. They would exchange drawings of each other and just love letters. And then eventually met up, eloped, and then had my sister. Wasn't happy with that one, so they made me. And they stopped with me. I was born
because you were perfect then.
Yeah. That's why they named me Perry is my American name here, you know. I had to start with P. I'm playing. Don't... I'm not egotistical. But so, yeah, I've lived in a total of 6 different states, and it started with Minnesota. And the moment I was born, for like 2 months, they moved me to Florida. I lived there for like 2 months. Then they moved me back to Minnesota. And every 5 years, they would go back and forth. So I've been to 3 different high schools. And because of that, it's taught me how to adapt. I was always the new kid, so I had to learn quickly. And I had the best of both worlds because of that, because when I lived in Minnesota, I lived in a small country town, right? And then when I lived in Florida, I lived in Orlando. So it was a big city life. So I had both best of both worlds and best of both temperatures, right? Mm-hmm. You know, after that, I also lived in Iowa for a short period of time, North Dakota for a short period of time.
What part of Iowa?
Mount Pleasant.
I know where that is. I would go through there I went to school at Drake, so I would drive through Mount Pleasant to get to Des Moines.
The weirdest thing is almost like quite a bit of people I meet somehow have had a touch of Iowa, and you would never think, because Iowa is like, what is in Iowa? You know what I mean?
Well, insurance in Des Moines.
Insurance?
Insurance companies were big there.
Oh, okay. Okay, makes sense. I thought it was just...
And then corn and pork.
Okay. Although Mount Pleasant, if you've been there, they just got Walmart and McDonald's. You know what I mean? That's it. So I lived there for a year just to be like an older brother to my baby cousin. And then I moved to Kansas, which I've lived in for 4 years. But I'm not new to Kansas besides that fact, because every summer I would visit my aunt here. And yeah, it was kind of like a calling. I should always move here, but I wanted to avoid it for a long time, because I knew I would love this place too much. But once I got the call and I got certain opportunities, I finally made my way to California, and I'm living right by LA. But I travel to so many places in Cali just to record. So yeah, that's kind of my life. Lived in 6 different states. It's very interesting, but it's taught me a lot, and I'm able to be kind of like in every room with any particular group thanks to it.
It's a very diverse background as far as exposure to lots of different types of cultures in the United States. Because Minnesotans are very different than Floridians.
Yes. Oh, the funniest thing, they make fun of each other every time. I'm the new kid when I came from Minnesota. They're like, where are you from? I'm like, Florida. They're like, oh, you guys are probably stupid over there, huh? I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest thing. Then when I was in Florida, where are you from? I was like, Minnesota. They're like, huh, Minnesota. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, well, that's Canada, but I only ever heard two people talk like that ever. But I digress.
Very interesting that you said about every 5 years you moved back to the other state. So your parents at this point live what state now?
They're in Minnesota currently because, and another interesting thing about me is we built a house. So
As a whole family you built the house, or
minus my sister.
because she's the princess?
Yeah, she's the least favorite. She's the least capable. So they bred me to be the laborer. So just, yeah, my dad, my mom, and me, and then any of her like uncles that live in that small town too. So they're about to sell it this upcoming summer, and then they're going to retire and go to Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy for that.
Tell me about your parents. Are they pleased at your music career, or do they worry that you are going to be a starving artist?
Both. I starve all the time regardless of what I'm going for. I was pretty much born into it because my dad, I am the exact carbon copy of my father because he does music. So my whole life growing up, every weekend, I was always at a town hall because he's the one performing. So he had his own band. He sings. He plays guitar. He plays piano and drums as well, but he's the lead guitarist and he sings. So, and even then, in my house was a huge mixer board, the whole band equipment in the basement. My uncle was the drummer. Another uncle was the bass. Another uncle of mine had his own band. Another uncle of mine had his own band. I was just born into it. I think that's kind of what led me into this. My mom's not worried about it because she kind of saw it coming. Same thing, like my mom doesn't like my tattoos that I have, but I'm like, Mom, like Dad has more tattoos than me.
Ooh.
He's covered all over. I was like, I'm sorry, man. You just look at the guy right there, and then that's me.
So when you were saying that in LA, you moved there to basically pursue your music. Tell me a little bit about that. You're recording on a regular basis. How are you making a living right now in LA?
I'm recording constantly when I'm over there. The way I'm making a living over there is there's a sponsor of mine that like had me shoot over there. And also there's this merch company known as Lao Supply, which just welcomed me with open arms. They really are trying to help get me known, get my music out, because they know as a small country that Laos is in terms of the world being known to it, like we have a long way to go. So they're doing whatever it takes, and they see the opportunity, and they know I have that fire stoked in me to really try to push and help people know of my culture. So yeah, they started a restaurant over there, and they also are starting a warehouse. So I said, hey, I have both experience in both. So besides giving me like all this merch to wear for my music videos and everything, so they told me, I was like, when you fly over, you don't have to bring any clothes. We'll give you all the clothes. I was like, okay, cool. And then I found out I was like nothing but streetwear, and I was like, I kind of dress casual too, you know. I like dress pants, and you know, I'm a very like gentlemanly person. So you got anything?
That's not street clothes?
Yeah, but hey, I said if it's free, it's me. So I'm like, I will be very streety when I'm in Cali. They started a restaurant, and I was like, hey, I've had 2-3 years experience in restaurant. I worked at the Main Event here.
Really?
Yeah, on 119th. Yeah, right across that long bridge, the super blue lit up one. I was like, hey, I could help out. Like, I'm really good with customer service. I love people, humans. I could do this. So I came through, and I've been there, and that's how they helped me with a steady paycheck. Meanwhile, I have an investor that would pay for all the studio time. So I just got to go there. Yep. And yeah, I guess that's basically what it's been going about. Other than that, I also am an aspiring like actor. I've been trying to go for these auditions too.
You've shared with us how things are going in LA. How did you get there? Yes, I heard you say that your mom kind of expected it because your dad is very musical and he's a musician. But how did you discover your voice and your style within your range of vocals?
I would say, just like I said, it started with my father. And it also, my dad is low-key egotistical. He's low-key cocky. You know, he's anything that we play, whether it's a soccer video game or Mortal Kombat or just anything, he's always like, I could beat you, you know? And we always would play. So because I love him so much and he's my hero, I wanted to kind of follow the footsteps. I first discovered I had something for it when I know in Florida, when I was a little kid, like we had this thing called a FCAT. It's kind of like the MSAT of Minnesota. I don't know. It's like one of those, but this was when I was in elementary school, and like only one kid won it in the whole state, and it turned out to be me because it was like this story. Like they said, make up a story about you having to take care of a neighbor's pet, and go. Something happens. So I just made this whole plot about, a neighbor dropping off a pet gecko. Eventually the gecko all of a sudden, like, I was just very descriptive, blah. And then, like, it ends up outside at a taxi to a baseball park, onto the pitcher's glove or ball. It hits. I grab a glove. I caught it. I brought it back home before the neighbor got back. And I won that. And so that's what told me I was good at storytelling. There was that. And then when I moved back to Minnesota in, like, 5th grade, I got really high scores. English, I noticed I excelled in, like, writing in English. And, like, the teacher would always compliment me on my poetry skills. Because every now and then we would have this little poetry test. And they're like, wow, really impressed that man. I was like, oh, okay. And then, yeah. And then my dad would force me to sing in his little songs that he would make, be a little child in those. And I didn't like it at first.
So your dad's the songwriter in your family.
Yeah, he did that too.
Okay.
So he would do that.
And make you sing them.
Yeah. And I hated it because I was a nervous kid back then. I was like a tough kid, but I was also so self-conscious. Like, I don't like my voice, Dad. Like, I just want to, like, watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff, And yeah, he would get mad at me, and I'd feel so bad. Like, I was, like, dishonoring, the family. But then eventually it got me to think, like, why am I so self-conscious? Like, I saw that at a young age. Yeah, basically I decided to turn over a new leaf, and then it was around the time I was, like, I recorded my first song when I was, like, 13. And it was just, like, a little fun, stupid thing with my friend. But then all of a sudden, like, everybody around the town, like my classmates and stuff, like, I'd just be walking. They're like, oh, Perry, I heard your song. It's so cute. Blah, I love it. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this feeling. So, yeah, I started, messing around throughout the years. And I had a passion for drawing and dancing. So it just eventually just kept squeezing me into the music life. And it was around 18, 19 when I finally said, oh, I think this is actually what I want to do. So I started doing talent shows. I started doing rap competitions. So I would pay for whatever. I would fly. Went to so many different states just to do these and try to get known and keep working on my voice. And that was the beauty of living in so many different states, is I've listened to so many different types of music, ranging from country to EDM to pop to R&B to hip-hop, all of this stuff. And I noticed I love listening to everything, just like everybody says, right? But the thing I've noticed in the industry is, why is there nobody that writes and performs in everything? So I want to be the first to do that and win an award in every genre if possible. When I noticed, like I said, I had a knack for writing, I was like, okay, let me start songwriting, but every genre. So I'm like writing a country song. Then the next song, I'm writing a pop song, hip hop. So it stemmed from that, and also a little competition with my dad, just wanting to be his successor. I'm always trying to be, I've noticed I'm the same as my dad, but we're different. In terms of he draws realism, I draw cartoony. He sings and plays guitar. I do that too, but I rap and play piano. It's like, it's the same element, but a different thing. So, yeah. Sorry for that. That's kind of long.
Oh, I think it's fascinating.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very, very fascinating. Right now, who's writing your music? You write your own songs?
Yes.
Okay.
I take great pride in that. So I don't like the idea of somebody else writing for me, because then to me I feel like I shouldn't be there. No disrespect, though. I do believe in also when you get to a certain point, let's be the face for some people that can't be the face, right? And they got the passion.
You mentioned you like all the different genres. You want to win awards in all those different genres. How do you feel? Because I have listened to your songs. I don't hear any, unless I've missed those songs because they're E and I can't play them, so they don't show up on my Spotify for me to listen to unless I flip the button. Are any of them in your first language?
I have one. I have one called Satu. Satu means to pray in my language. That is very R-rated.
Okay, so that one definitely wouldn't make my playlist.
Nah.
Not at least on the radio, possibly personally.
Nah,
But then again, I
only-
have to flip that switch, and if I mess up and forget and I slip on the radio, FCC doesn't like that.
Yep. So
Yeah.
only if you're feeling a little gangster and you
Okay.
want to kind of like strut your thing.
Okay.
There's that. But I came here to work with a friend of mine, and he's going to help me engineer 5 to 7 songs. I think I'll do 7 or 8. And it does incorporate a lot of Laotian words.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
yeah, but
Then-
I'm making it very Americanized as well. That way it's digestible in this country. Like that, like you could play it at a party, people won't even notice, but they'll also say, "What did he say?" You know.
Well, I love that we are, at least for our radio show, Rhythm and Soul, we are definitely trying to expose all kinds of different styles of Asian music. And one of the things that I truly enjoy is hearing the different languages in songs, because it brings curiosity to me and I want to know what the song's about. So it requires that I do a deep dive to find the meaning. And to me, I love to read. So those type of things, the message, the story is important to me. And so that's one of the reasons why I kind of listen to it. But I think that's really commendable. And if you have 7 songs, doesn't that qualify to be an actual album?
Yeah, apparently it started with 3, 4. I was like, all right, I'm just.
Well, that would be an
exactly.
EP. But
I was like, let me do an EP, and then as time progresses, I'm just writing in song after song, and then I was like, all right, that's 2 more added to this. All right, let's make it a mixtape. And then it got to the point where I'm like, I think this will be my album.
Okay.
So.
Well, I, for one, would be very interested in hearing it once it's ready to go, because I've just already enjoyed so much time talking with you prior to starting this interview, and moving into our next question, I think I will get even more because I've already shared with you what I would
We could even
envision for
hang
you.
out. We could go for a drive. I will perform it to you live. I have no problem, Mama.
Exciting, exciting. I shall take a break right at the moment, and we will be right back. We are back from our break. I am here on a Saturday with Every Woman with Soul. He is in from LA right now, but he's lived all over the country. He has also lived here in Kansas for 4 years. He loves Kansas, he says, which makes my heart very happy because I love Kansas too. And we are going to go on with our interview. Next question. You've given us a little bit of a sneak peek of your work history. You've shared what you've done, restaurant, service industry, also then in distribution, working in a warehouse, that kind of thing. I'm going to specifically reference the videos that you posted on your Insta recently with those delightful little children that you worked with in the past, and that really did intrigue me. Early childhood programs are typically a female-dominated industry. Please tell me about how you entered that field, and would you be making an album for our little ones?
Yes and yes and yes. I love babies so much. You have no idea. I want babies so bad. But I keep telling myself, don't stop it, because, I'm not at that point that I want to be yet in my career. And I know there's a lot of people on the line that I could really change lives if I just carry this out first. Then I have my babies and I could put them in every sport that I want them to do. Whatever they want to do. You want to rock climb, you rock climb. Daddy's got you. I got the money now, right? I just didn't want to do it now. But it stemmed from that. I've worked at a daycare. Currently, as I came back to Kansas, I came back to work at the daycare that I worked at because I miss my babies. And thank God they remember me. It helps that I'm the only Asian guy there, too. But it helps.
You're probably the only male there?
Yeah. A few, very rarely. Though, maybe 1 or 2 since I've been gone. But they remember me the most, I'm the funnest. Let's just say that. I grew up I have a huge family, being Asian, that just happens. It's kind of standard. And I tend to be one of the older brothers to all these baby cousins, nephews, nieces that are coming into my life. And I've noticed that, I just gravitate toward little children because it's just, they're the reminders of, purity. They just don't have a care in the world. Usually when an adult falls, we complain, we whine about it. So we tend to forget that inner child in us and the young spirit that we should be living, because this world has become so industrial we tend to forget to stop and smell the flowers type thing, which babies want to smell all the time. And that's such a huge reminder. So, and I think it's important to kind of guide them because they were us once. So that's why, whenever I'm there, I'll always like spin a child around, whatever they want to do. They want me to draw something for them, I draw it. I just don't want to deny them of that gift that they're given right now before they forget it. And I hope as they get older, they'll remember subconsciously to do the same for others. And I mean, my aunt owned a daycare. It was a Montessori school, and so I learned that way. And then it was the time she needed teachers, I needed a job. Like COVID was really messing things up afterwards, so I was in there. But I was also at this school like every now and then throughout the summer to help build the outside. That's where the labor part comes in, where I would help build the playground, I'd help build the fence, I'd help bring in the mulch and all that stuff, remove the weeds. And then eventually, I became a teacher. And I low-key always have wanted to become a teacher because it's just so fun teaching and seeing people at level 1. And then they get to level 100 thanks to your guidance. Like, it's the most rewarding feeling. And I know you know that. Like, so when I was a daycare teacher even, because I always thought of seeing myself as an art teacher or a gym teacher or a math teacher, one of them fellas that are goofy like that. As I'm working at this daycare and like a child doesn't know how to like write their own name, but then literally you see 3 months from that everyday work. Now they could just write their name, and then now you're working on like cursive eventually. But like that was the craziest, like, whoa, we did it. We did it, I was like, that's so cool. So that type of feeling never goes away. So I love children with all my heart. I have no problem taking care of anybody's babies. It's super easy to me because, it's a good thing to quit forgetting about the problems you have right now.
Do you ever sing to the babies?
All the time. All the time. I never get tired of Baby Shark. I never get tired of Cocomelon.
You don't get tired of Baby Shark?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know why teachers. So I know some teachers like, oh my God.
Could you please write a different song that we can get
I got you.
on?
Oh yeah, that.
Oh,
yeah.
please.
I definitely plan to write like a children's song or a whole album because, another goal of mine is to work with Disney someday. I want to be like in that soundtrack or be the composer for like the next animated movie, like the next Princess movie or Prince movie or whatever. That's always been a goal of mine because I grew up on Disney, Pixar, what have you, whatever other companies. And that's always been a goal because I love children so much. I want them to have some really dope songs. And I also want to represent. Representation matters always. Growing up, I don't see any Asian baby or Asian male in anything. And it hurts because I look in the mirror every day and I'm like, why don't I look like these people in Cocomelon? Why don't I look like this? So my goal, if I could write something, hopefully I could just, get them to like maybe put an Asian male baby in Cocomelon. I see the little Asian girl in there and I'm like, I see you all the time. And so, that's a goal of mine for sure before I leave this planet.
Well, I would encourage you to always keep your eggs split in different baskets. You can do both. You can still work with children. You can still work on your music career. Because one of the things that you've already stated is your skill at creating poetry and creating story and storytelling, and then obviously your voice. And that is so important to children for language development. If they don't have poetry read to them, they don't hear the rhyme, they can't become artists themselves, they can't become storytellers because they don't have that modeled for them. So keep that in mind. This is coming from the early childhood teacher that I am.
Someday I want to do even children's storybooks, I've drawn for one before for a friend of mine that also wanted to do the same thing, but she couldn't draw, so I did the art. And like even that little thing is super fun to do someday.
And it doesn't take much. I wrote my own children's book back in 2004. It's published.
What's
Now
it called?
it's called The Chocolate Chip Ghost, and I just had it this year put into an app. It's out on Android and on Apple. The book has done very, very well.
I'll definitely read that to my babies.
You
Is it an
will.
audiobook or like?
It's a paper book.
Okay.
And when I see you in December, I'll bring you a copy.
Bet. Please do. Sign it.
Yeah. Okay. You will love it because it's about a father and his children.
Good.
Unfortunately, there's no mention of the mother or the female character. Nothing happened to her. It's just that was not my focus. There wasn't enough books out there on diversity for fathers raising children, and that's why I wrote it.
That's important. Thank you for that.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I'm excited. I look forward to hear it and then read it for the first time with my baby. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's specifically written for early childhood. So
Good.
So I encourage you to continue. Don't lose sight of the things that you love. You can merge them and have a wonderful career with it. So we had been talking about your background, about your music industry, your desire to hopefully work for Disney at some point, places that you've lived, how you grew up. And now I want to move on a little bit and let's talk about your label, or are you an independent artist? Are you signing with a company? Do you want to sign with a company? Tell me more about where you want to see yourself music-wise.
I'd say currently I'm a free agent, so if somebody wants to pick me up, I could take my talents to Miami if you want me to. No, I'm playing. But I'm definitely leaning towards the independent route. That's the route I'm currently going, unless there is an offer from a label that would entice me. But other than that, I think it's smarter just to go independent. That way I don't have to feel restricted to the certain things they want me to do, and also the certain rights they would have, and just I'm more free, and I could really do what I'm meant to do compared to, if I sign with a label, even though there's all good deals and stuff, what if they shelve me for the next 6 years? I don't want that. I can't have that. So I think going independent is smart. But like I said, if a label wants to say something nice, then we'll see. But for now, I do have a meeting in the future with one of them. They've already seen my talent before, so they're excited to meet me and stuff, which is humbling and great. I love it.
I wish you luck with that.
Yeah. But they'll also ask me if I'd rather just a distribution deal, which is what I'm leaning towards. So
yeah, distribution is big.
Yeah. Hey, if they give me like free chocolate chip cookies for the rest of my life, I might sign that label. We'll see. It's got to come with something,
So you like chocolate chip cookies, eh?
I love everything.
Oh.
Chocolate chip cookies especially, for sure. Chocolate cake. Not chocolate everything, but just saying, it's one of my little, things. I might sign a contract.
For a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, okay. It's pretty easy to win me over.
Well, I don't have a label, but I make some of the best chocolate chip cookies around.
Yeah, I'd probably sign to you right off the bat.
Okay.
So.
Well, I will bring you some for sure. Cool. That was so funny you said that, because when Ted we're going to talk a little bit about the concert coming up in December, but when Ted was here the last time, all the artists got homemade chocolate chip cookies that I had made that morning. They were to their hotel rooms when they arrived at 5.
No, I'd personally love it.
I definitely do.
Need milk too, but lactate. As I got older, I've discovered I'm more lactose intolerant.
Aww.
It's getting there. So
that's unfortunate.
2% is what I usually do, but lately I've had to transfer the lactate. It's unfortunate.
Well, you would not be eating the story I told you. I wrote my children's book. It's called The Chocolate Chip Ghost, and it's about chocolate chip ice cream, which I eat on a regular basis for dinner, literally, realistically. And so you would probably not be able to follow in those footsteps on the eating of the chocolate chip,
No, but I could vicariously. That's what the book's there for.
Yeah, right? That's true. Yeah. So, yes, that will be delightful. I'm excited to bring you a book. Ooh. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about March. March is a big month for you. You stated you're here to kind of get yourself ready for a big performance. So what's happening in March?
There's a huge Southeast Asian music festival happening in March 18th and 19th of 2023. So it's about 4 months ago. I don't know. I'm losing track of time preparing for it. But it's called Sabaidi Fest. Now, Sabaidi means hello in my language. My family is from the country of Laos. And for anybody that doesn't know where Laos is, it's right next to Thailand. Very similar culture, very similar dialect and everything, just differences here and there. Yeah, Will
it be in Laos?
No, it'll be in California, in Norco, California, at the Silver Lake Springs complex. 20 minutes-ish from Rancho Cucamonga and Ontario, maybe 30, 40 minutes from LA, something like that. Norco, Cali. That's the biggest thing that I'm preparing for. There are a lot of big name, famous Laotian anti artists coming through, and Hmong artists. This is the first in history, which is why I'm so honored to be a part of it because this is the stepping stones of like the next
KCON?
KCON, like Woodstock, or it's called Woodstock, like 88 Rising.
Mm-hmm.
This is like 88 Rising, but for Southeast Asians that, like, you know, we have the smaller voice. We're not known just like the Eastern, our Eastern brothers and sisters. We look up to them. We also want to be heard because we have our own style and we have our own passion and fire and like culture that we would love to share to the world. So this is the first ever, and there's definitely more coming. I feel so honored and like, I don't know. It's such a great feeling to be part of the first that you know is going to be marked down in history for future generations. I'm preparing. I'm constantly trying to get in shape besides the chocolate chip cookie. You know, I got to have that cheat month, you know?
Yes, of course.
I'm like trying to work on my dance. You know, I want to do everything. I want to dance, sing, and rap. I want to even do flips, maybe. Just depends on how the stage looks. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's coming up. If you use code SOAL, which is my artist name, SOAL, you get 10% off on the tickets. They're right in my Instagram bio for the website, but other than that, it's sabaidifest.com, SABAIDEEFEST.com. And on my mama's birthday, that's the only person I love more than my dad. January 5th is her birthday, so I'm going to be doing a little boost code, which will be 20% off of tickets. And that, if I could do it right, that's the goal of when this Laos American R&B hip-hop pop album's going to come out is on her birthday. Which, by the way, that's another song that's very E-rated is the song I made for my mom.
Oh, my God. All right. I don't know. As a mom, I'm not sure how I'd feel about that.
The music video's out, too. There's a music video already out. I'm going to share it to you after this.
Okay.
It's called Mama. I released it on Mama's Day, and I also dedicated it to the single fathers out there. But really, it's obviously to my mom, so you're going to hear a lot of things that would relate to her, but it should relate to everybody. And the music video's out, and I shot it with my nephew, and I put my face on his body, you know, just to protect his privacy, but also I needed him, you know? That's my boy. So, yeah, I think you're going to love it. And, you know, it's definitely one of my favorite songs just because it hits home. And like I said, I low-key, besides doing this for the culture, besides doing it for my loved ones, I do it all for my mama. Like it really is.
Well, I want the audience to learn how diverse your genre already is. You have such a range of songs already that have been dropped. Would you say that the songs that you are currently working on, you said around 6, 7, possibly going to be an album this time, will have that same mix? Or are you trying to stick towards, like you have this beautiful R&B, soulful voice, but then you can flip to another song that's a rap. Do you think you'll mix them, or do you think you'll try to stay to that one side or another?
They are definitely mixed. Like I said, I can't sit still like a ADD kid. Like I just can't. I just have this knack for wanting to write a different style every time. In all 8 songs, you're gonna hear an element of me, but every song is different. You got your R&B, it's gonna sound like sexy. Then you got your pop, it's gonna sound very like uplifting. Then you got your club style song where it's gonna just sound like let's just get stupid, have fun, let's dance. Then you got your rap where it's just, oh, I feel powerful. You want to punch a wall? I got a song just for that. So it's going to be a mix of all those things. It's going to talk about everything relatable in terms of growing up as an Asian American male in this country, but also facing adversity and then going through love, falling out of love, everything that we all go through in some way.
So you've made a couple of comments respectfully about what I interpreted, correct me if I'm wrong, to be the underrepresented side of Asian males here in this country. Is that an accurate statement that you feel the population is underrepresented, or did I read into that?
Nope. I think you hit it right on the spot. It just can't be helped. That's just how life has become with like all these wars, everything, you know. Humans tend to forget that a lot of people aren't born this way on purpose, right? Like our skin colors. Me and you are low-key no different from each other. But at the moment we're born, we're put into these groups. And it can't be helped. That's just how society has made the standards. And that's how we have fun with our competitions and stuff. That's the same reason we have states, is to help differentiate. Because if we all named everything one thing, we'd get a little confused if every street was the same. So, you know, it's understandable. But then some things are a little unnecessary, but I get it. Why? Completely understand. But as times are changing and the world itself is still very young, I'm just hoping I could be a part of something to help boost and get something done a lot quicker than what would take another 100 years, right? And right now, things are looking really good for Asian people, especially Asian males. You know, Shang-Chi came out, Crazy Rich Asians came out, all that stuff. And then COVID hit. And it was like, well, 2 steps back, right? Which I don't want to get too far into that. I don't know what happened. I don't like to say, oh, an Asian man did that. No, let's blame all the Asian people. But that's just people when they're scared and they have fear. It's easy to point to something. They need to blame something. So I understood, right? You can't dictate everybody's mindset. So, I grew up an Asian male, as you can see. And, I faced a lot of obstacles that I shouldn't have needed to face, I noticed. That's just how life could be. And so it's given me a tough skin. One that I'm going to wear is armor to be one of the leaders to help people that look like me. Because I know there's a lot of young kids that look like me that still don't see themselves in those love movies. Shang-Chi finally came out, but, the whole time it's like, where's our superhero, Like, that helps with the team. When are we invited to that team? So it's just getting started, and I want to be a part of that. There's no hate involved. It's just, please acknowledge us. Please make it easier for me to date girls without girls being like, oh, you're into Asian men? Like, can't I just be
a guy?
Can't I just be a funny, handsome guy? Yes, Asian is part of it.
I'm so sorry, but I got this visualization, and I just didn't really even think about another individual would say, oh, you're into Asian guys. My brain just doesn't communicate things that way. I'm so sorry that people, I understand what you're saying, but I'm so sorry that people have to categorize. Why can't you just say, I like that guy, or I like that girl, or I like that person? Thank you for that.
Yeah. And hey, thanks for being one of the 1% that didn't see it that way. But yeah, there are other people that have grown up in a certain standard and all this stuff, and all they see in the movies and shows and reading books, it happens to be white males. But we're in America, right? That can't be helped. It's where it's dominant.
But our country was made of a variety of different individuals all coming together from a variety of different circumstances to hopefully have a better life.
It's a melting pot country. Yeah, it's a melting pot. It's slowly boiling, but I'm going to turn up the heat, in these next coming years. So
that's exciting for you from our listeners' perspective, I'm sure, to hear you with this great opportunity in March. But closer to home, we know that you're supposed to be performing for us here in January. And we are very excited about that too. Maybe this could be a baby practice for you for the big time in March. And maybe you'll have some of those new songs. Like you said, you're dropping that album January 5th on your mom's birthday. So maybe we'll get to hear some of those. Yeah,
I'm down to show. I wasn't originally planning to perform those songs, but I can.
Or maybe
it just depends on the set list time and everything.
Yes.
And if you want me to do this, because even like I said, outside of this interview, I could show you some songs that aren't released, and then you could tell me what you like and what you think we should do, and I'm down.
Well, our community will support the music. You will gain followers here in Kansas City. Yes, you already have a base here. I'm very appreciative of that already and very acknowledging of that. And again, when you come back for us in January, you will see that you'll have your fan base. Besides the families that you have here and the family that you have here, you will have grown that fan base.
I look forward to it. I've never performed in Kansas yet. And I don't even, I get it. It can be treated as a stepping stone for Sabati Fest, right? But I also am treating it as an equal platform, because it shouldn't matter. Like, it shouldn't be small or anything. This is still a big deal, because no matter what, I'm getting in front of people. This is Kansas. Every place and setting has its own rights in being a top thing to be excited for. I'm excited for January 21st just as much as I'm excited for March 18th and 19th.
I'm excited you're bringing dancers, because that's going to be awesome.
I'm working on that. I got a couple of friends. Like, I used to be, I still am, like, low-key, but I put that on a pause. I was a videographer for weddings and dance videos and model videos and whatnots. But I made a lot of dancer friends. I've already hit them up months ago and everything just to prepare. But it is hard working with everybody's schedule. So we'll see if I could bring maybe 2 people to be a part of it. If I can't, then so be it. I'll dance
be
by
all right.
myself like nobody's watching, right?
It'll work out. However it's supposed to work out, it will work out.
That, all right. I attach those, like puppets next to me.
Yeah,
like
right.
Yeah, we
right,
do something.
right.
I'll figure it out.
I know that you've spent some time with us in studio today, and I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you would like to share with your friends that are here, or friends that are in Cali, or friends somewhere else that you want them to hear specifically from you from this interview today?
I guess, sorry for making y'all wait so long, Your boy had stuff to do. I do a lot of random things, and, sometimes it takes time away. But starting now to next year and so on, I'll be hitting music even harder. And that's why, like I said, this long time coming album may or may not get released on January 5th. But just know I've written about like 800 to 1,000 songs. They're all in the vault. It's just a matter of time of when I could get them out. And thank God, low-key, that I held on to them, because now that I finally got my foot in the door of the industry, the fact that I didn't release them means I could now release them on the radio. So there's a lot of good ones I've been holding on to for years. And at first, it seemed like a bad idea, which it was. But like now I could use it as something else more powerful. So just know very soon. Currently I'm in Kansas shooting this music video, Christmas music video for the song that you really love. It's called Dancing in the Snow.
Dancing in the Snow is fabulous. You are going to hear that song right after this interview. What other songs do you hold close to your heart?
Mama, which music video is out on my YouTube as well. There's a song that really helped me blow up from the start. It's called Black and Gold, right? And it's a song I made for my hometown of Warroad, Minnesota. And the next day, it just like when I released it at night, the next day it shot up to like 10K. Then the next day after that, 23K. And it stayed around there, but basically like 37K or something, but only because I only released it on like a cloud. Now I've moved on, to like Spotify, iTunes, Google, all that stuff. But that was definitely the song that helped me. And like, I'm in a small town of like 2,000 people, like 2,500. But the fact that it reached a couple other people in different states and countries, and they told me that even though they know it was a song I made for my school that I grew up in over there in my town, they felt that fire. And if they felt like they could apply it to their schools. It even got played in like some Chicago radio because I mentioned about hockey, which my town is famously known for. And then, Chicago's got a big hockey thing over there too. So they liked it. They played it. Even TJ Oshie, shout out to him. He's a NHL player. He tweeted the song. Super dope. Yeah, so that was years ago. And that was a good milestone for me to help me like get on the right track and know that I'm doing something right. So just like running back to the whole children's thing, like I make music because, one, it's therapeutic for me, but it's also therapeutic to others that may need it, because that's what I noticed too. When people say they love it, it's helped change their lives. And I was like, oh, crap, I got to keep doing this, So, just know
your music
January
makes
5th.
a difference. Your music makes a difference.
Yeah, which I'm really grateful for, that people also, I'm not alone. I used to think, oh, man, I'm a depressed little boy. Turns out other people are too. So, and we need each other. So, I'm back in Kansas for a while shooting this video, spending the holidays, taking care of babies, and then I'll be going back to Cali after I perform. But I'll be here January 21st to perform here in Kansas, downtown, and then go to Cali, perform there, and it's game on from there. Hopefully this album gets released. I am working on a doo-wop album. I'm also working on a 1980s pop album, kind of like the Breakfast Club soundtrack. Just think of songs from there. I'm going to hit them in the feels. I'm working on a Michael Jackson-inspired 1980s, 90s Smooth Criminal style album, pop album, and a rap mixtape, what I'm really good at. I have a lot of plans. Just going to take a minute, but we're going to start with what needs to be prioritized, which is this Laos American album, because I need to perform that very soon. So we'll start with that. Maybe I release one more Christmas single this year.
I would love it.
That's a goal. Oh, yeah, Christmas album. That's a big goal for me, too.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. I wanted to do one this year, like next month. But as it turned out, I might have to wait next year.
Or maybe
so.
just a single would be good.
Yep. That realistically, I'm like, let me just do the single. Let me just do that. Well, we'll get it.
Soul, it's been a delight to have you in the studio. You have been so informative. I find you a very fascinating artist, and I thank you for stopping in today. And I'm so looking forward to you coming back in January to perform. I am promising you that as long as you send me or put out songs that don't have that letter E by them, that I will play them on the radio shows. And then you can always let me know if you saw the spins through however it's reported back to you.
Got you, love. Hey, thank you for having me over. This has been nothing but warming and welcome. You know, you feel like my second mama. Not gonna lie. I feel the energy. So invite me back anytime. I would love to be back. I would love to spread out this name and everything. So appreciate you and everything. Rhythm and Soul. You got my name right in there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye, Mom. Bye, everybody. Bye, Mom. Bye, everybody.